You are listening to the Fitz and Healthy podcast. I am your host, Dr. Lauren Fitzgerald, also known as Lauren Fitz. I'm a medical doctor, a fitness instructor, an entrepreneur, a health and fitness coach, but most importantly, I am a lover of life. And here on the Fitz and Healthy podcast, I intend to give you a ton of great information and knowledge that will serve as potential power so that you can live a life by design and make it more fits and healthy. And don't forget to listen to the disclaimer at the end. I'm not your doctor, yo. All right, enjoy the episode. Much love. Ciao. Hello and welcome to the Fitz and Healthy podcast. My name is Dr. Lauren Fitz and I am your host, and I am joined by my beautiful co-host, Cinthanie from Cinthanie.com. What's up, girl?
Hey, girl. Hey. You know, I'm doing
Friday. Always Friday when we film.
That's true. I never thought about that.
We have talked a lot about nutrition lately, but today's episode, we are kind of switching the gear and we are going to be talking about a topic that I think a lot of people have heard about, but some people need some direction and some guidance and some education. So we are going to talk about HIIT training. And HIIT is HIIT, which stands for high intensity interval training. It's a mouthful, so that's why you say HIIT instead. But HIIT is something that a lot of people, well, it's underutilized for one. And a lot of people don't realize the benefit from it. So we're going to talk about the benefits of HIIT training. We are going to talk about different options for HIIT training. We're going to hit the options of the person who doesn't have a gym membership, but still wants to utilize HIIT training with the resources that are essentially free. And then we're going to go into the gym and talk about resources that you can use in the gym to get your HIIT training done. So that being said, let's talk about HIIT. So do you utilize HIIT at all?
I do. I'm trying to subtly hint to you.
To the listeners, y'all, I'm Bart, because one of her jobs as co-host is to remind me that we have iTunes review of the week, and I totally forgot. This is for me to think about this. So we have our iTunes review of the week ready.
I do. We are on a call, PS, like a video call, so we can see each other. So I kept putting my phone up, trying to like signal to her that I had the review ready. And she just kept looking at me like, what are you doing? Okay. So our iTunes review of the week is from Val Mom number 2. She says, your ticket to health, and it's a 5-star review. It says, Lauren is engaging, inspiring, and knowledgeable. She is a great resource for people or for personal growth, health, nutrition, and fitness knowledge. This doctor does not disappoint. Her tell it like it is mentality backed up with a wealth of knowledge is exactly what will keep you coming back for more on your journey to become your best self with your best health.
Oh, that gives me chills.
Stop it some more.
I get chills pretty easily though. I'm not gonna lie, but that did give me chills. You can see it.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you guys. We do appreciate every single person that takes the time to leave a review on iTunes. That is the way that can help us the most, by leaving a review, hopefully giving us a 5-star rating. And that essentially puts our podcast on the map so that people that have never heard about either of us can organically find us in the search, because the iTunes podcast app is not the easiest to find. And granted, it's not the only podcast app people use, but the majority of our listeners are coming from iTunes podcast app. So we appreciate everyone taking the time, because it takes about 5 minutes of your time to go and figure out how to do it and type out what you want to say. And we appreciate every single person. We read every single review and we every single one. So, okay. So now it's time to talk about HIIT.
Now we're ready.
Right. So tell me, what is your experience with HIIT, and when did you first learn about it and open your mind to it?
So I used to think that HIIT was like boxing because they go in rounds. but it's because it's interval training. And so I was thinking like, oh, how they go in rounds, like kickboxing and stuff, they go in 30-second rounds. And so that's what I thought it was. And then I started doing turbo kick, which I did not realize was a HIIT workout. I just thought I was doing cardio, but I realized it's a HIIT workout. So that's my experience with it is turbo kick. I freaking love HIIT workouts that are turbo kick anyway.
Right. Excellent. Excellent. So to the listener, there, we have all realms of listeners. We've got the listeners that are experts at, anything that's fitness. We have experts that are nutrition. And then we have people that are just like, I just want to learn some basics. So we're talking to everyone today, but there are going to be a few things that people that have been exercising for a long time, they're going to be rolling their eyes like, okay, Lauren, get to the gist of it. But I do want to make sure that the average person, the person that hasn't spent a lot of time in the gym, understands the whole concept behind HIIT training.
Yeah.
So the concept behind HIIT training is giving more energy in less time to ultimately get better results. And we'll talk about that in a bit, but high intensity means not just getting your heart rate up, because this is one of the most common mistakes that I see from people when they are attempting to do high intensity interval training is that they get sweaty during their high intensity. But we're talking, if you're doing HIIT correctly, you're like doubling over and
you can't breathe.
Yeah. When you're done with that interval, you're trying to catch your breath. So the whole concept behind it is, and there's different forms of high intensity. There is no right or wrong way. Well, actually, I take that back. There is a wrong way, because if you do certain exercises with improper form, you will hurt yourself. And so that's what we want to prevent for sure. But high intensity interval training is essentially where you take a exercise or maybe a series of exercise, and you do that balls to the wall nonstop for a certain interval of time. And then you take a lesser amount of time to quickly catch your breath. And then you go back balls to the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And if you don't know what balls to the wall is, it means you are giving your everything.
110%. Yeah.
Exactly. And so I will let you know that I like to do HIIT training on average when I'm in a routine. I like to do HIIT training 2 to 3 times a week. Okay. And HIIT training is great because it doesn't take much time. You don't really have to, well, not really, you don't have to go to the gym to do it. You can do it anywhere, depending on what kind of HIIT training you want to do. And so this morning, the reason why I've got wet hair and I was running late for our podcast time, was because I was like, you know what, I'm going to do, a HIIT workout this morning before my regular workout. So my regular workout, I'm in my challenge group and we're doing a particular program. So I had to press play and get that workout in. But before I did that, I'm like, I'm going to do an actual HIIT workout. And for me, it was 8 minutes. And so I went and I got on the treadmill and I warmed up completely. And so this is one of my favorite HIIT workouts is to do sprints. And sprint HIIT workouts will, like, I'm not sure if you can see the sweat mustache. Like, no kidding. It was 2.5 hours ago that I did that. No, yeah, about 2.5 hours ago that I did the workout, and I'm still sweating. And that's the point that I want to get across about HIIT training, that it's different from just traditional cardio on so many different levels, right?
Yeah.
So I went and I did a good warm up. I warmed up for about 5 minutes, and then I got on the treadmill, and literally of course you got to get good banging music on, right? Like, pump you up.
Yeah.
And then I set the treadmill on 10 miles an hour and I sprinted for 20 and I stopped for 10. Sprinted for 20, stopped for 10. And at first this happens to me every time I do the sprint interval workout. At first I'm like, okay, that wasn't so bad. And then on the last round, I'm telling myself literally, okay, I can do anything for 1 more minute. And it's 10 seconds on and 10 seconds off. And you guys, it's the bomb. And you can do that. And you don't have to have a treadmill to do it. You can go outside, do a track and run through the straights and walk the Curves. That's what I'm
Mhm.
talking. So, okay. So your common knowledge, obviously it's good exercise HIIT, but what are some of the benefits of HIIT training that you know of over just regular workout?
Well, it helps to make your heart stronger. I
Okay.
mean, all cardio does, but especially HIIT. And I forgot the other one. I had a really good one on the tip of my brain too. I don't know. I'm gonna have to tab that.
One one thing that people will always hear when they listen to the Fitz and Healthy podcast. Oh,
I remembered it. Sorry. I remembered it. Did you just see the light bulb go off on my face? It helps to build your endurance.
yeah, it does. It does. And a lot of endurance athletes will incorporate HIIT into their workouts too for that exact reason. Um, so what one thing I was going to say was that um, what people are going to constantly get used to hearing me say is that losing weight is not physics, it's biology, i.e., your hormones. And the way in which HIIT workouts get your endocrine system, so that's your hormone system, okay?
Mhm.
Big way of saying hormones, your
Mhm.
biology, it's so beneficial. So, okay, so let's first start talking about who HIIT is appropriate for, right?
Yeah.
That was one of the questions that you had
Mhm.
before. And I think that this is a great question to start with. Who is HIIT appropriate? Because, we have people uh, that all are on all steps of their fitness journey that listen to us. And we have some people that literally are doing good to be able to walk to the mailbox. And then we've got some people that are like in tip-top shape, right?
Mhm.
So in my opinion, HIIT is good for anyone and everyone, but you definitely need to have a little bit of base knowledge before you start, okay? So so let's say that now we're talking to the person that has a significant amount of weight to lose, right?
Mhm.
I don't want you to get on the treadmill and do 10 miles an hour. You will hurt yourself.
Yeah.
Will hurt yourself. And this is where having access to a personal trainer might help just for a session to kind of give you some basics.
Mm.
But not everyone has that ability. Not everyone can
Yeah.
afford a personal trainer. And I know that there are a lot of gyms that are, fairly inexpensive gyms that will give you one free session with a trainer so that you can get some basics, and that might be a good place to start. But HIIT is for everyone, and I think that it can benefit everyone because of the changes that it does to your hormones, okay? So growth hormone, do you know anything about growth hormone?
Isn't that ghrelin? Or no, ghrelin's the hunger hormone?
Right, right. Growth hormone is a hormone that we slowly have a decreased level of as we get older if we don't partake in certain activities, i.e., exercise, and
Mm.
specifically two genres of exercise that can help increase our growth hormone are resistance training, so weight training,
Mm.
HIIT training. And so just the effect of your hormones from HIIT it's huge. And so this is a great place to start. Now, if you were doing HIIT correctly, you're not doing it every day,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But a good place to start is to say, let's do a Monday and Thursday HIIT workout, okay? And start from there. I think for me, a maximum of 3 days a week is pretty much done because tomorrow recovery is so important. And we should probably do a podcast just about the importance of recovery because
Mm.
there are so many personalities like mine that think more is better. And it took everything in me because I went to my fitness center because I prefer when I do sprint interval training to be on a treadmill because that
Yeah.
see the 20 seconds go balls to the wall. Sorry,
Mhm.
parents that don't want your kids to hear that. Sorry. It's one of my favorite expressions.
Yeah, just go all out.
I like to have the timer right in front of me so I know, okay, 20 seconds, because by the end of 20 seconds on the third round, the fourth round, the fifth round, every time it gets harder and harder. So I like to have a treadmill. I realize not everyone has that, but there are some great apps that we can talk about later in the show. So HIIT training for me is not every time sprints. Sometimes it can be a burpee HIIT training. Some days it can be squat jumps. And then the other thing is that you can hit different body parts with HIIT training. Okay. So let's talk to the person who is brand new at HIIT training.
Yeah.
Let's just start with you obviously warming up, because disclaimer, if you do HIIT training without proper warm up, you will hurt yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Pull some muscles, it's not good. So
Yeah.
doing an adequate 5-10 minute warm up so that you're getting your muscles nice and warm, and then you start your HIIT training. Okay. So running is something that almost everyone can do. Okay.
Not me.
Now, not you and our Robert, our producer, he's got terrible knees, and so he can't do. So we'll
It's not because I have bad knees. I just hate running.
I'm not a huge fan of running, but I definitely know that. I mean, like, I wish the people that are listening could see. I mean, I'm still sweating. We'll probably be sweating the rest of this recording because there is lasting benefits from HIIT.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that people underestimate, is that when you do cardio, after cardio, you're done. But with HIIT training and with resistance training, there is constant benefit, and you are continuing to burn calories, and you're in this hypermetabolic state, hence the sweat.
It just looks like a little bit of highlight.
Girl, I mean, I'm glowing for sure. I'm glowing. I've got sweat dripping down my back. I know the listeners want to hear that. So obviously, running is not an option for everyone. If you're morbidly obese, that's not going to be an option.
Yeah.
You've got knee injuries, it's not an option. But there are so many different types of HIIT training workouts that we're going to talk about today. So that's a good place to start. There are so many different free apps that are HIIT Tabata interval training, or interval time apps that you can literally put on your iPhone or whatever phone you have, and you can set the time. So for me, I set it for 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off, and there's literally a ding that will tell you stop and go, stop and go. So that is where I would start. Now, what are some other exercises that you can think of that, to the person who doesn't A, have a gym membership, and B, isn't in their most optimal health as a fitness level? So a beginner, what are some exercises that come to mind that you think that might be a good place to start?
I think dancing. I mean, that's something that, that's a huge part of your brand, is that anybody, if you have 2 feet, you can move, And so if it's not super high intensity, which I know your classes are not like, hey, let's just go dance. Like, girl, I know. But I'm saying for somebody that is entry level and just needs to get moving, I think that dance is a really, really good place to start.
Okay. Now, in fact, I guess maybe about 3 years ago or so, that's when I started treating my dance fitness class more like when I make a playlist, I will think, okay, this is a high intensity one versus this one, their heart rate down, that let's go back high intensity. This is medium intensity. And that's a good point. It's a little, you have longer periods of high intensity versus low, or in songs, I've got plenty of songs that the chorus, you're high intensity, and then you bring your heart rate back down. So yeah, that's a great place to start. Other places that you can start are the good old burpee. I know people that are like, really, Lauren, really, I hate exercise, and you're going to go to the burpee. Yes, I'm going to go to the burpee because you know what? I'm asking you to start with 4 minutes. 4 minutes, guys.
Yeah.
That's literally all it takes. And I'm not saying that you can get 6-pack abs in 4 minutes a day.
Yeah, please.
None of this is going to be beneficial if you don't apply good nutrition. So you have to understand that if you want ultimate results from your exercise, you have to combine it with nutrition. And I believe it's 85 to 90% nutrition, honestly.
Yeah.
But if your exercise can be pinpoint to have the least amount for the maximum results, we're talking HIIT. We're not an hour on the treadmill. We're not training for that marathon, guys.
Yeah.
Because the fact is that people that are long distance runners, the moment that they stop doing those long endurance trainings, they start to gain weight. And it's just HIIT training is something that it's so easy. It can be done anywhere. It can be done in such a short amount of time. And 4 minutes is literally where you start. And for me, so this morning, it took everything in me I was in the workout facility for less than 15 minutes. And that goes against everything in me, right?
Right.
I went in there to do 2 HIIT workouts. I did a sprint interval and I did a push-up one. And I literally couldn't, and I'm good at push-ups. Did you watch me while I was doing the ACL push-up challenge?
Yes.
Girl.
And so push-ups are my least great thing. Like I do the girl push-ups. I'm not great with push-ups. So I see Lauren do this live video of her doing push-ups while she has a torn ACL. I'm just like, who is this person?
Right?
Yeah. That's when I just started to get to know you. But I was like, what the heck? I can't even do a good push-up on a good day. And she's injured and is doing awesome push-ups.
Yep.
So yeah, Lauren owns the push-up.
One thing I want to correct you with is it's not a girl push-up because
modified.
Thank you very much.
Sorry.
It's so funny. So, okay. So for listeners, I have to tell them quickly what the ACL push-up challenge is. So in December of 2015, when I tore my ACL, my meniscus, I had surgery, and it was right after I had given up medicine and gone into full-time health and fitness coaching and having my 2 online businesses. Right. And so I'm always constantly thinking about ways that I can take whatever is happening in my life, or whether it be good or bad, and help other people and turn it into a story that can teach and inspire or whatever. And so the first day after my injury, I knew before my MRI that I knew my ACL was out, and I knew that things were about to change. And so I got past the feeling sorry for myself, and I started thinking, how can I turn this into something good? Well, I can do push-ups. And so I literally got on Facebook Live, and I told people, okay, I'm going to show you that even despite the fact that I'm going to be on crutches for the next 2 months and I can't use my lower body, I'm going to still do exactly what I can. And so I'm going to basically put the video on, and I'm going to do as many push-ups as I can. And I did full-fledged military, and I am a girl. And that first time nonstop, it was either 34 or 36 push-ups. And it was funny because there were a bunch of dudes that were, because I told everyone, I'm like, join me every day.
Yeah.
Do one more. So, the first day was 34. So the next day was 35. And my goal was to get up to 100. But by the time I got to like 78 or 80 or whatever, like I realized like, okay, so I never got to 100, but it was on purpose, because at that point, my knee, I was like, okay, I'm going to actually start back into my normal exercise routines and whatnot.
Yeah.
I needed to give my body rest, because that's a joke. But there were a bunch of dudes that couldn't even like keep up halfway with me. So we will never call the push up on the knee a girl push up again.
Excuse me. Sorry. I do modified push-ups then.
There you go. No, but it's push-ups, that's one thing that I loved to see, is that people started off and they were like, I can't even do one. And they built up, and that is the way HIIT works, is that it builds your endurance. And so if you first start off and you're like, okay, I'm not a runner, but I'm going to run as fast as I can for 20 seconds. And at the end of 20 seconds, I'm literally catching, trying to catch my breath. Or you're going to find that a month from now, that speed that you're running is going to be faster, and you're going to be able to go harder. So a burpee is a great place to start for HIIT workout, and literally do 20 seconds of burpees, 10 seconds catching your breath. And for beginners, it literally, it's you squat down, you step back up, and you stand up. The ultimate burpee is, and Robert, we should put in show notes some links to good burpee YouTube
Tutorials.
tutorials,
Yeah.
because the full-fledged burpee is you go down, you jump out, you go into a push-up, you jump back up, and then you come up and tuck jump. I mean, yeah, I could make the video. Yes. I make a lot of videos, don't I?
I think that you might be able to do that.
Done. Just you gotta remind me. Do the burpee tutorial. That's perfect. But literally, you start off there and you do it for 20 seconds. You use your interval timer on your iPad, your phone, or whatever, and you go basically 8 rounds. And so that's 4 minutes. And you're gonna be, the first minute you're gonna be like, oh, I got this. Second minute you're gonna be like, oh, this is kind of hard. Third minute you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, how can I do this? But you're gonna tell your mind, I just have 2 more rounds. I can do it. And that's why workouts are so great, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So what are some other high intensity workouts that you can think that you could do for a short amount of time? And it doesn't have to be 20 seconds, but if you can go longer than about 60 seconds on whatever exercise it is, you're not going hard enough. So let me establish that. The interval time doesn't have to be 20 seconds. It can be 40 on, 20 off. It can be 50 on, 10 off. It's a matter of you, for the longer amount of time, you're high intensity, and then you're giving yourself just enough time to barely catch your breath, and you go right into it.
Yeah. I think that one thing I do want to mention, though, is that with HIIT training, your mind will give out way before your body will, because you are working at the highest intensity that you can. You're like, oh my gosh, there's no way I can do another one. I can't do it. But that's your mind telling you that. But your mind will always give out before your body does. And I know that because so I do HIIT training twice a week, and I take a live class. It's Turbo Kick. It's my favorite type of HIIT training. And when we get to the section where we do burpees and tuck jumps, I'm always like, one, I think wedding dress, because I'm getting married in 3 months and I gotta fit into that wedding dress. So I'm like, if you can wear a wedding dress, you can tuck jump. Like, you gotta tuck jump to wear that wedding dress. But that, or I'm always like I can do one more, because I try to be the hardest working person in the class. Like, that's what I always try to do. So I'll find, which I'm not, but I'll find the person that's totally killing it, and I will just, like, if she's doing a tuck jump, I have to do a tuck jump. Like, I just try to, like, put myself outside of my mind, because I know that my mind will give out way before my body will.
So true. And I found myself on the last minute, literally after that 20 seconds, I'm holding, I've got my hands on my knees, I'm bent over, I'm trying to catch my breath in that 10 seconds. And I'm thinking to myself, and literally I have to change that verbiage in my head.
Yeah.
Okay, it's 2 more rounds, and that's 20 seconds right now. That's all I have to do right now. Okay,
Yeah.
go. So, and that's what I love about 10 seconds being the off time, is that it's just enough time to barely catch your breath and not talk yourself out of it.
Yeah. That's why I said, like, I try to shift my focus outside of what I'm doing and focus on somebody else. And, like, that's, if you can do, for me, I know that having other people around while I do HIIT is something that keeps me super accountable to making sure that I stay to it and don't be like, oh, you've done enough. Like, it's so easy to be 3 rounds into 3 of your 4 rounds and be like, oh, I've done enough. Like, you've done enough. Like, you did HIIT, like, you're good. No, it's nice to have somebody that just keeps you accountable. So if you can have somebody that can do it with you and keep you accountable, that's been a huge help for me.
That's a great point, because oftentimes in our fitness journey, if we do it alone, like I've always said, we're used to letting ourselves down. And it's not quite as big of a deal. But if there's someone else, especially if you're meeting someone, you're gonna show up and yourself a little bit harder.
Yeah.
So a few other exercises for the people that want to try out HIIT at home without needing a gym membership. So it's really cheap. Go get a jump rope. A jump rope literally can be one of the easiest and best way. And you can get outside, get some vitamin D, because most people are lacking vitamin D, and we're recording this at summertime right now. So a lot of people are getting out and getting their vitamin D, but it's a great excuse to get outside, get some fresh air, and get some high intensity interval training. So
Mhm.
using that time interval, there's another one. It looks like a beeper. Like, do you even know what a beeper is? You don't know?
Yes, I know what a beeper, like a pager.
Yeah, like a pager. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not. I swear, you think that I'm like 10 years old versus 23 years old.
Been a while since has used it. Like, I mean, I even as a physician, I stopped using a pager. I just went straight to my cell phone
Mm.
about 10 years ago. So I mean, I know that there's still needs for beepers and pagers, but
Yeah,
pager, same difference.
but
But
yes, girl, I know what that is.
a time interval that looks like a beeper.
Mhm.
I'll have to find it and we'll put it in the show notes. But that literally just it's the you can hear it beep and you don't need a phone or iPad for it. But so jump rope. That's another option. Mountain climbers. They're not my favorite, but they are a great way to hit your core, hit upper body and hit lower body, and go hard for 45 seconds and off for 15 or whatever interval you choose, right?
Mhm.
Let's see some other great ones that you can do at home. Okay, most of us, if you don't have stairs in your home, you can at least find a place that's close to you that has stairs. Like for me, I'm close to this place that it's called Corona Del Mar, and it's known for these stairs. So I'll go and do a HIIT workout so that I will run up the stairs and then basically lightly jog back down. Or you can walk down just to catch your heart rate back,
Yeah.
back down. But that's a great way to do some interval training. In fact, one of my well, really, when any of my friends come to visit me and stay with me, I'll take them out there and we'll go get a workout done. And every time they're like, "Oh God, this is not part of my vacation that I wanted."
It is now.
Huffington. No, Amanda, she's my good friends who took my class in Oklahoma, and she's super in shape. And so it's nice to have friends that are on the same page as you. And
Yeah.
went and got an amazing HIIT workout, and we were dead by the end of it. But another thing is squats, and you can take squats to all different levels. You can just basically do squat thrusters, which will get your heart rate up, to squat jumps.
Mm.
Squat jumps are no joke,
Mm-mm.
and they will get your heart rate up very fast. Any other ones that you can think of that you can do at home without needing a gym?
Not off the top of my head, no.
Oh, lunges, lunge
Oh,
jump.
yeah.
So lunge switch jumping, and I need to definitely do a video of proper form on this, because this is
Yeah.
and you can hurt yourself.
Yeah.
You can really hurt yourself with anything if you do improper form.
Yeah.
So I would definitely, again, make sure that you get some sort of good guidance. And that's one thing, teaching my own fitness class, I try my hardest to make sure that I'm watching the people in my class, because, something like, and I know that you've heard this, when you're doing any kind of squat, if your knee goes past your toe, you're
Mm.
your knee at this unnatural, awkward angle that you'll hurt it. And
Mhm.
you just want to make sure that anytime that you're doing any kind of squat, you want to think about making a 90-degree angle at your knee joint. And,
Yeah.
and someone like our our boy Robert, who has really terrible knees, um,
Mm.
doing stuff like squats is not an option.
Mhm.
Okay, so those are some options for people that are at home that don't want to pay for a gym, but you can literally put on your calendar, choose, Monday and Thursday or whatever 2 days, and for a month, just add 4-minute HIIT workout 2 days a week. Of course, combine it with good nutrition, and you
Mhm.
will be amazed at the change. Now,
Mhm.
okay, so now let's talk about people that have a home gym. And it doesn't have to be a fancy home gym, but you have some basic weights, you have gym type equipment at home.
Yeah.
You don't have to pay for a gym membership, right?
Mhm.
So any exercises that you can think of for the person that just has some basic tools at home?
Well, now I'm thinking about weighted squats or weighted lunges, just incorporating a little bit of weight into those exercises that you can already do at home.
Most definitely, most definitely. A few key items that I would suggest that you have at home are kettlebells, because kettlebell swings. Now, and this is definitely something. So, y'all, someone has got to make a list for all of these videos I need to do. Kettlebell swings are something that definitely can get your heart rate up high very fast, but if you do improper form, you will hurt yourself 100%. You will hurt yourself, you'll throw your back out, and it will not be good, and then you'll be hating me, and I'm gonna say, "Told you so, I told you to get good form." So kettlebell, and you can get all different, um, weights of kettlebell. I mean,
Mhm.
I've got one that's as small as, I think, 10 pounds, and I've got ones that go all the way up to 35 pounds. I'm a pretty strong female, so
Mhm.
I wouldn't I wouldn't suggest the typical female to start at 35, I'm just saying. Um, sandbags.
Yeah.
Sandbag is something that, people underestimate how much you can do with a sandbag, and so any kind of, and the beautiful thing about that is that you can make it as heavy or as light as you want. So
Mhm.
as you progress in your strength and your endurance, your sandbag that was originally halfway full because that's all you could handle, you can go, especially if you're like me and you live close to the beach, you can go and get real sand.
Mhm.
From
Mhm.
Home Depot is not real sand, but that's what I it's like, oh, fans are definitely
Yeah.
great tool that you
Mhm.
can add to any of these exercises we talked about. And then just hand weights. I mean,
Yeah.
oh, and then weighted jump rope. Hello.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and that really a weighted jump rope isn't that much more expensive than a
Uh-uh.
typical jump rope, but
Yeah, most of all this stuff, like, you can get at Walmart. Like, I bought my hand weights at Walmart. You don't have to, like, go somewhere fancy. You can get them at sporting goods stores or Target or like, you can pretty much walk in any big store like that and find kettlebells and weights.
absolutely, absolutely. And so a minimal investment in yourself to have
Mhm.
workout gear around your house so that you can start, and HIIT is a great place to start for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got those. Now let's talk about the gym. So most people, a lot of people have gym memberships that they get intimidated because they get to the place and they're like, I don't know what to do. Well, we're going to give you a few different options. Okay, one is the rower machine. Now, maybe some people have rower machines at home. I do not have a rower machine at my home, but a row machine is something that you can literally go balls to the wall
Mhm.
interval training very, very well. And in fact, a lot of CrossFit gyms, or not, they don't call them gyms, CrossFit boxes. I'm sorry, you CrossFitters that just have it's kind of
CrossFit places.
they call them boxes. I know this. I've done CrossFit.
I've never heard that. I never heard that it's called a CrossFit box.
Really?
Uh-uh.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's what they call it because
Hmm.
most times it's in a little warehouse that
Yeah,
has,
that's true.
and it's like literally a big metal box that
That's
people
true.
their equipment in and whatnot. So the row machine is one of the greatest. The bike, in theory, the stationary bike, you can do an interval, yeah, a HIIT workout on it on a stationary bike, but I feel like it's hard to because you're going to have high resistance, right? For that spinning for whatever
Yeah.
amount of time to really get your heart rate up to the point that you're like dying after
Yeah.
set time, right?
Yeah.
But it, in theory, some people do HIIT workouts on the stationary bike. So
A lot of stationary bikes have options on like a keypad where you can choose, like, because I remember one workout that I used to do on the bike. I think it was like, it's called like the Himalayas or something like that, and it's where the bike, the resistance changes, and it has like this, it's cute because it has this little pad that's like mountains, and it shows you where you are on the mountain as you're going through your resistance training. So
that's
there are ways that you can change it on the bike if it's a digital bike.
a very good point. And then the treadmill, obviously, you could use the treadmill like I did, or you can do a HIIT workout for those people that are like, I'm not going to run, Lauren. Well, try doing hill intervals. And so literally putting the treadmill at the highest incline that you can
Mhm.
possibly get, put it at a speed in which after 30 seconds of walking at that speed, at that incline, you're dying of breath,
Mhm.
literally dying of breath, but you know what I mean. And then you step off holding the rail and breathe for 10 seconds, catch your breath and get back on. So those people that are like, nope, I'm not going to run. That's a great alternative to do a HIIT workout. Yep,
Present.
that's where you can start. Um, so we've got the and elliptical. In theory, you could. Elliptical is so boring to
What
me.
about the Stairmasters or the step mills?
Oh yes,
You
that's
can do that because just like the bikes, there's resistance training on it where you can choose intervals and it will speed up and the resistance will incline and then it'll slow down, let you catch your breath. So those are really good too. Because I'm not a treadmill person. I don't love treadmills, but I do love a Stairmaster I could be on all day, but not a treadmill.
yeah. Well, if you could be on it all day, then you're not doing it.
Well, okay. Okay, not all day.
The treadmill, I mean, the step mill is definitely something that can get your heart rate up very fast and
Mhm.
wind you to the point of, okay, I yes, so that's a great option. Another great option is, the medicine ball, and you can do a bunch of really cool stuff with medicine ball, um, that will get your heart rate up fast, and you can go for that time interval and then break. So, I would suggest using the non-bouncy medicine balls because there are
Mhm.
some I
Like
have
the weighted medicine ball. Yeah.
so all medicine balls are weighted, but there are some that are bouncy no matter how heavy they are, and then others that have no bounce to it that they almost look like pigskin, like leather,
They're like a volleyball almost.
yeah, almost, but
Mhm.
you know, the heavier they are, the larger they are, right?
Yeah.
And so you can take a wall ball or a medicine ball and get next to a wall, and obviously it has to be a high ceiling wall, and squat down, throw it up where it goes onto the wall and then comes back down, you catch it and go into a squat. And that is a total body exercise in
Mm.
which you are hitting your legs, your core, your upper body, everything. You will get your heart rate up very fast doing that.
Mhm.
And doing a HIIT workout with wall ball is awesome. Uh,
Yeah.
Another thing, you can take the non-bouncy medicine ball and do medicine ball throws. So literally, you take it over your head and you
Mhm.
slam it down. It almost like it would be great to go on a day that someone really ticks you off.
Anger management. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, but doing exercise like that. Another thing that you can do if you are at the gym is the ropes. And the rope,
Yeah.
I know they intimidate a lot of people, but the ropes are something that really, oh my gosh. Have you ever done the ropes at all?
Yeah, and it takes a lot of core strength. You think it's, I mean, it's working your arms, but honestly, the most sore part of my body after doing ropes is my core.
Yep. And people underestimate how much
Mhm.
total body workout they get
Mhm.
the ropes. So a few different ways that you can use the ropes is obviously for people that have no idea what I'm talking about. These ropes are basically like they're they look like big. I mean, like
They look like a giant shoelace.
yes, thank you. That's a great analogy. But they are really heavy and they at the midpoint of the rope, it's attached to typically, you know, some stationary piece of metal so that it doesn't
Mhm.
fly off, and then you have the two handles and you go, you know, the distance where that they're essentially straightened out, and you can do a few different things. You can do the basically where you're doing one arm at a time and you're basically making a wave like movement with each rope one at a time, or you can do the slam down where you're basically taking both hands at the same time and slamming it down and literally doing that for anywhere from, you know, 20 seconds to 60 seconds at a time and then
Mm.
like you're going to get your heart rate up.
Yeah, that always kicks my butt. Always.
Yes. One thing that and it actually kind of brings some anxiety to me because I haven't done it since my knee injury. But I used to, I mean, so the boxes, the box jump.
Oh, yeah.
So the tallest one, I've actually I used to be able to do that. And it wasn't too far away from the knee injury. So I mean it's been in my 30s.
Yeah.
I was able to do it. And it takes a lot of lower body strength, and I'm very
Mm.
strong when it comes to lower body, and I haven't done any box jumps since my knee injury. But today, the sprinting, like I didn't feel my knee at all, which is pretty good considering that I'm
Yeah.
19, 20 months out of surgery.
Hmm.
So those are some great options, that doing box jumps for a set amount of time, catching your breath. But you definitely want to make sure that, because if you are doing a box jump in a box that's too high, what's going to happen is you going to bump your face. It is not pretty.
Yeah.
So, box jumps are something that you often see in a CrossFit box
Hmm.
as well. Yeah. Let's think. What other ways? Well, another literally, you can take resistance training and put it into a HIIT type workout.
Hmm.
So you take a weight that is going to be heavy and hard for you to do after about 20 seconds. And I keep saying 20 seconds because one of the most common kinds of HIIT workouts is Tabata. And Tabata is 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off. And you do that.
Yeah.
And I really like Tabata. And you can do Tabata with pretty much anything. You can take bicep curls and change your arms by doing a Tabata bicep workout. But the thing is that you want to make sure that the weight that you're using is adequate enough, right?
Hmm.
You're taking 5-pound weights and you're not tired by the end of the 20 seconds. You need to up that weight, girl.
Hmm.
And obviously men are innately a little bit stronger than we females when it comes to you know how much weight that they can do in the gym. But the most important thing is that you got to don't be scared of lifting heavy.
Don't be scared, girl.
Don't be scared. That's one thing that I see with females is that they think that weight training is going to make them look like these bodybuilding females, and it's not. It, I mean, the bodybuilding females, they take hormones, they take other things that are not natural to get them to look that way.
Mm.
Why they want to look like that, I have no idea, but I'm not here to judge them. But the fact is that if you want to sculpt your body, females, weight training and HIIT training, one of the best ways to do it.
Yeah.
And
100%.
notice I didn't say chronic cardio. Because that's ultimately what I want to get people to get out of the mindset. And even, with my YouTube channel, a lot of people will make their own playlist and do, song after song, and they're getting cardio in. And trust me, I would rather you do that than nothing else.
Yeah, for sure.
Humans were meant to move. We're not meant to be sedentary,
Yeah.
right? But if you want to sculpt your body and take it to the next level, you have to start challenging your body in different ways.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
and exercise is there's so many different ways to exercise, and why not do exercise smart instead of exercise for a longer amount of time, just without any mindfulness?
Yeah. I'm a great example of that, by the way, because I've been doing HIIT for probably 2 years now, and I love it. It's one of my favorite workouts forever because it's completely changed my endurance. I had zero endurance before HIIT. I went hiking with my family once, and I was way behind everybody, like, and I went home and cried because I was so embarrassed. But a year later doing HIIT, we went hiking, and I made sure that I was not the last one up the hill. I busted my buns. And it was because my endurance was so different that I could actually do that. But I lost my train of thought. What was I going to say? Oh, that I was an example of doing one thing. I did HIIT for 2 years and I love it and it's great and it's completely changed my body. But I haven't gotten like as strong as I know I can be because I haven't done any resistance training. I haven't done weight training. And so I just have started incorporating weight training even within the past month, really. Yeah. And I'm like, what? I could have gotten definition so much sooner had I like introduced weight training. I was never really scared of it. I just was like, yeah, it's not for me. But right. Because I didn't understand that, like, no, it is for you. It's for you. It's for everyone. So, yeah.
And we had an episode about how exercise isn't a good way to lose weight. If you want to lose weight, your nutrition has got to be your priority. But to change your body, exercise is. And the quickest way to do it
Mm,
is by resistance training. And I've gone through different
mhm,
stages of my life where it hasn't been as high on the priority list as it should be, and I can always tell a difference in my body when I don't have regular resistance training and regular HIIT training in my weekly workouts.
mhm.
So okay, so there were a few questions that you had, and I know I answered one of them. Did I answer all of them?
I believe we answered all of them. It was what are HIIT workouts, which we covered that. Who
Okay.
can do them? We covered that. What is the purpose of a HIIT workout? We covered that. Are they safe?
Okay.
Which I think by now, as long like you've been talking about with form, as long as you have good form and make sure that you're not rushing it, you're taking the time to make sure your form isn't compromised, then yes, it's safe.
Sweet, sweet. And so, oh, and I said the push up, right? Yeah, we already talked about the push up.
Mhm.
Planking is something that we totally overlooked that you can do from home, from anywhere, really. And in fact,
Yeah.
my shout out to Dina, my massage therapist. There was a moment in time where her thing was to take a picture of her planking anywhere, and so she travels a lot, and she had all of these random planking pictures. But and then you can always do a plank off in the VIP lounge in LAX before you go to Dubai, like Melissa and I did.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll but not all planking will get your heart rate up the same. Some
Yeah.
people, just a normal plank will get your heart rate up, but like
Mhm.
for side planks where I'm squeezing up, that gets me.
Like if you dip and then pull yourself back. Yeah, girl. Yeah. My obliques always burn so bad from doing those.
Yes, yes. So there's just so many options. We didn't even talk about all of the different beach body workouts because there are, besides turbo kick, there are other
Mhm.
great. uh,
Insanity Max 30 is that one terrifies me. That is a type of hit that still scares me because it's pretty intense.
Yes, anyone that knows who Shaun T is, Insanity Max, exactly that. It's insanity, it's to the
Mm,
max, and it's 30 minutes, but,
yeah.
he incorporates a lot of these concepts that come along with high intensity interval training,
Yeah.
and ultimately, at the end of the day, you you will benefit beyond that quick workout
Mhm.
of how it affects your biology, how it affects your
Mhm.
hormones. It also decreases insulin sensitivity or increases insulin sensitivity, decreases, I'm saying the same thing. What we talk about, what we've talked about in past episodes is that people are having problems with increased insulin insensitivity, which the best way to tell of that is if you have excess goo on your waistline. We call it goo because fat is I hate using the word fat, one because it's got such a negative connotation, and two, it's the same word as one of the macronutrients that we have to eat to
Yeah.
survive.
Yeah.
So in earlier podcasts, if this is your first podcast to listen to, we decided that instead of, because it's the word fat in the English language is an homonym, which is basically it has two different meanings: the
Mhm.
fat that we eat and then the fat on our body. So
Yeah.
we decided to call the fat on our body goo. So if
G-
you've got goo around your section, you probably have some insulin insensitivity going on.
Mm,
Workouts, the HIIT workouts can help with that, help
yeah.
reverse and get it to where you're more sensitive to insulin, because the the whole concept behind it being biology versus physics is that our pancreas is the organ that spits out insulin, and it's constantly spinning out more insulin than it needs, and our body gets so used to it that it upregulates those receptors, so it gets more and more, and so we need more and more insulin to have the same response, and all of a sudden that leads to diabetes, and diabetes leads to bad, 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 bad things.
Yeah.
So it's not just growth hormone that HIIT training or HIIT workouts can help. Your insulin, that needs to be one of your target goals for everything that you do, whether it's the food you eat or the exercise that you do. Knowing that certain kinds of food will spike your insulin way more easily than other foods, versus the same thing goes with exercise, is that
Mm,
you get a much better response from your body's insulin production system if you're doing exercises like HIIT exercises.
Yeah.
So, okay, so that being said, hopefully we have covered basic questions that we have from, all levels of people that listen to this show. And bottom line, you should try it. But make sure that, depending on who you are and where you're at in your fitness journey, you might need some help, and asking for help is okay. And then maybe not a personal trainer, maybe having, reaching out to, a coach like us, finding a good YouTube channel that has some good, reliable sources. And I will try my best to get some good examples of good form on different HIIT exercises that you can do for whatever body part you're working. And then we'll get them on the website as soon as possible. So, all right. Well, you guys, thank you so much for listening today. We appreciate you taking the time to download this episode, going and leaving a review. And Cinthanie, you have a message for them.
I do. You are a good person and you deserve good things to happen to you.
Amen. Amen. Thank you guys so much for listening. We hope that you have a more Fitz and Healthy day. Much love. Ciao. Make sure that you find us on social media. You can find Cinthanie on Instagram and Facebook at Cinthanie. So that's CINTHANIE, and on Snapchat at Cinthanie P. And find me on social media platforms like Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, all at Club Fitz Fitness. Remember, that's FITZ Fitness. And on Snapchat, just at Club Fitz. I appreciate your time listening so much. If you enjoyed this episode of the Fitz and Healthy podcast, can you please go do me a favor and go subscribe at whatever platform that it is that you listen to podcasts. Leave a review. We read every single review, and we appreciate the time that you take to leave your thoughts and opinions. Now, also remember, while I am a medical doctor, the information I provide here is not intended to provide medical advice or a professional diagnosis, opinion, treatment, or services to you or to any other individual. I am providing general information for educational and informational purposes only, and it is not a substitute for medical or professional care. You should not use this information in place of a visit, call, consultation, or the advice of your physician or other healthcare provider. The information I share is not intended to treat, cure, or diagnose any disease or medical condition. If you believe you have a medical emergency, just call 911 immediately or your physician. Now, enough of that medical legal jargon. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. I appreciate your time. Now, go live a Fitz and Healthy life.